Dear Mr. Leon C., I have a problem that I want to present to you and share with you. Because I have a very big question and I feel kind of in between the rocks here. I met this beautiful woman who has 2 children. Over time, I've taken a liking to the children, but she's kind of fickle. The relationship started off quite well, but of course she began to loosen up the mask little by little. But I built such a relationship with the children where it's hard for me to break away from them. And it's not as if the relationship is on the rocks. It's not as if she's not willing to work things out, because so far it seems like it's okay, but it can be better. But while I'm in this particular situation, I know that you don't get along with pastors or ministers and people of the religious circle. But I received a ministry from one of the pastors that I've been listening to for some time. And one of the pastors said that men should not marry or date women who have children. And he explained his various reasons that kind of outlined my situation. Now, in his discussion, he was talking about women who have at least 4 or 5 different kids, and that we aren't responsible for those kids. She is. We only want to be in a relationship with her. But at the same token, how are we going to open up a brighter future and mend the broken pieces with kids who don't have fathers in their lives? And so I need to know if I'm doing the right thing or if I'm doing the wrong thing, because I don't want to break away from a responsibility that I at least started. But in the same token, I'm troubled because I don't want to seem like this beta male who is coming up behind another man's responsibility. What do you say to this? And I appreciate your feedback. And once again, you are doing outstanding work out here in the field that we need. All right, and they gave me a name. I know it might not be their real name, but that's fine. They just put down there Jack, which is fair. But here we go. Let's go ahead and make something clear before I go ahead and get this started. It's not that I don't get along with pastors and ministers and people of the religious circle. No. I'm simply not a believer. I'm a realist. You have what I'm saying? I'm simply not a follower. I'm a leader. All right. I don't believe in a text scripture. OK, I believe in facts. I believe in, and I'm going to say believe. I know in facts. I know in reality. I use knowledge, not hope and faith. OK, I put the shovel in my hands and the pickaxe. And that's how I live my life, not waiting for a sky hero or a daddy to do it for me. OK, nor my sheep. So it's not as if I don't get along with the ministers or the pastors. No, that's not it. I just have I have a reality. They have an indoctrination. I have a fact. They read from books. I read from life. They read from a faith-based circle. I read and I study from reality, science, and what is going on, not what used to go on. And as a matter of fact, if I talk about what used to go on, it's based on facts that you can thoroughly see today, not based on some space creature walking on water. OK, not some senseless things that you're not going to witness in your entire lifetime. OK, because most, if not everything, when you use your science and your intelligence that a lot of us pretty much don't have anymore, and you tether that to some of these so-called witnesses or events that you hear in the churches, or people standing up talking about, I'm going to be a witness for the Lord. When you really think about what they're talking about, it's just scientific data. It's just a physical situation that they don't quite understand because they want to live their life by hope and dreams. I don't live my life by hope and dreams. I live my life by facts and reality. Okay? If they don't like it, all right, there's toilets everywhere. Plain and simple. But however, let's talk about your situation, my friend. All right, Jack. And let's go to the very basics, and I'm not going to make this long, but I'm going to give you an idea and an outline of what I pretty much understand what he's saying in this particular circle, because a lot of people get offended, and most of them are the women who have 3 or 4 kids. When they hear a pastor or somebody talking like this, it pretty much offends them. It makes them upset. It makes them uncomfortable because there's a fact somewhere. There's some truth in this, but there's a thin line, which I'm going to explain to you here. I'm not even going to stall it. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and get these red pills together for you. And as you can hear now, getting mine together. The drink of the day is Pure Leaf Organic green tea. That's what I'm drinking right now. It's a Pure Leaf Organic green tea with a hint of Fuji apple and ginger. Not bad combination. It's really good on the senses. Goes down quite well. Not so sweet, not so bitter. But I usually make my own teas, but this was kind of different. It was on the fly, but I made sure it was at least organic and right. Okay. So in everything that people teach, you got to use your logic, Jack, and those who are listening to me in the classroom of Wildman. Okay. You got to read between the lines of what he's actually saying, because in a speech when somebody's talking, it's not going to be 100. It's not going to be 120%. What do you call that? One-sided. They're saying what they're saying for a reason. And sometimes they can't express it with as much time as they need because it would take too long to try to condense a lifetime experience in a matter of 2 minutes or an hour. That's how some of my audios end up an hour. I just simply cannot put all my knowledge and information into 1 hour. I've been a lot of places and done a lot of things. It takes time to draw the message. But however, let me go ahead and get to this. What he's talking about is those who carelessly not live their life, function in their world. If you know me, I tell you about the difference of living and not living. There's an audio called Life Isn't for Everyone. You need to check that out in detail of what I mean. People simply just exist, not live. They exist. Okay. And while they're existing, they make very bad decisions. And he talked about 3 or 4 different kids by several fathers. He didn't say his single mother with 1 or 2 kids by one father. Okay, even though that's a possibility. But basically what he was trying to say is careless, wreckful mothers who have several kids by several fathers is a significant sign that she's not trying to tamper anybody down as a significant father figure. She's just having a good damn time with herself and getting away with it. And blue pill white knight men should not support bad behavior, should not give prizes and gifts to those who want to live a very conscienceless, thoughtless lifestyle or functionality that's going to destroy not only themselves, but their children's future. All right, so let's get it straight. I'm pretty sure that is along the line of what he was pretty much trying to say. Because a lot of men aren't simply going to tell you to just walk away from children and just abandon a life altogether. There's a reason why they say what they say. What he's basically saying is a lot of women need to be accountable for their actions. And a lot of them, not most, okay, I'm not talking about everyone, but a lot of them, they have a lack of accountability. So if they are going to continue to go down the bad path and make bad decisions, then there have to be some type of consequences. But because there isn't a lot of consequences, a lot of that frustration and pain and labor comes out of taxpayers' money. The government have to come behind families and parents specifically who make bad decisions, or who is a weight on the economy. Because now if she cannot afford those kids, and she don't have a good job herself, and she can't procure a good husband or a father figure in that child's life, or at least that baby daddy, then of course she's going to have to depend on the government's services, programs, food stamps, right? Financial aid, and everything that is based on supporting system. And that money comes from where? That money comes from somewhere, from somebody else's pocket, and it's taken that type of resource from somebody else's mouth, or somebody else's child's mouth, that have nothing to do with this lady. Have nothing to do with this lady, but it's being taken from somebody else's family. All right. And the government's resources that can be spent in other better places. And we're not going to get into that one. I'm just telling you specifically what it is. So therefore, if a lot of men just simply stop and say, no, I'm not taking care of your bad mistakes, you need to be accountable for your actions, then maybe the onlookers who are able to visualize the consequences of not being careful in how she carries her body around, they would think twice about going down that same path. However, as we are experiencing in the country today, and especially in the Dr. Martin Luther King Avenue area, or what some people say in the black community, there's still a whole lot of younger black women who are having children willy-nilly, without responsibility, without accountability, because a lot of them are raised up by single mothers, and the single mothers is only looking for a paycheck. They're looking to, and this is how it happens. I'm not going to get deep into it because I talked about this in another audio. Let me go ahead and give you the reference, and I'm going to stop this particular subject on this page. But there's an audio that I said, the title was called Men Watch Out, Mother-Daughter Scheme. Men Watch Out, Mother-Daughter Scheme. In this one, okay, the mother who's bitter, who can't procure a man, not interested in, she's already at the age of 40, 42, 50 years old. She's not going to get that white, I'm going to put it like this, that decent, high value male. And she realizes that over time. But she wants to feel like a woman again. So basically what she would do is she will not mind her daughter making mistakes and bringing another human life into the world. Because what ended up happening is she knows the game. She knows the child support system, and she knows the court system. And she will purposely evaluate this guy's financial standing and how powerful this guy is, especially if he's younger than her. If the boy's 20 or 25 years old and the mom is apparently 40 or 45 years old, she's been there and done that. She already pretty much kicked her father out of the picture. She already robbed somebody. She already put somebody on child support, so she know how it works. So she will purposely set up this boy or her daughter to go out there and make a mistake by bad attitudes and bad behavior, and pretty much verbally manipulating her daughter. Once her daughter had that child by that boy or guy, she would try to rip the two. Actually, she will not try. She will rip the two of them apart and create a scenario where her daughter is going to end up raising that child by herself. It's just going to be the daughter and the child. But the whole objective of the mother is to take complete control and custody over the child. Because over time, when that daughter is receiving child support and receiving all the benefits from the government by having this child, the mom actually wants that as a paycheck or as a retirement plan, or to support her in her own broken life because she doesn't have a man. She don't have a husband. So the scheme is this. The scheme is not for the daughter to be successful, have a child and get married. No, the scheme is to make her daughter one way or the other through manipulation, go out there, make a mistake, have a baby so she can be the grandmother and slash mother eventually over her own daughter's child, and start considering her child to be a bad mother. She'll go to court to try to pin all type of faults on her daughter, try to say her daughter is unfit, her daughter's dangerous, her daughter's roaming the streets, and try to come up with some type of proof and evidence, because what she wants to do is, again, take the money and the benefits from that grandchild. So therefore, she's at home, older. I'm not going to say 40, because for some that may be younger, maybe in the manosphere, but a little bit older than 40, 45, 46 years old. She's at home working a part-time job and making extra money from that baby. So therefore, she don't have to work 24 hours. She don't have to work 24 hours a day, 5 days a week or nothing like that. She can have a benefit of being at home and getting money from the government. So therefore, instead of raising up the child properly, they want to continue to do the rat wheel. So if she has 4 or 5 different kids doing the same thing, it's going to be more money eventually. And even more so of a lazy, lackadaisical life where all she needs to do is depend on the government. So what the pastor's saying and other men are saying is, men who are coming in the picture need to watch out these traps and walk away from them and let them be responsible for their bad behavior. And therefore, the younger girls, when they do have a child, or if they do plan on going out to grow up and experience the world themselves, they will learn from their mother's mistakes and others that are around them. But they're not going to, because the rat wheel makes money. All right. I can go deeper into it, but I'm not going to do that right now. These are just the basic truths that you can figure out on your own, because we have all the information that we need to change this. There's no excuse, and it's been going on for too long. And as a leader and as a man, okay, it is my task to tell you about what the solution is. All right. After you present the problem. So I told you about the solution is to walk away. Have more love for yourself. But let's get back to your situation. OK, that's just something on that other side of that bridge. In your situation, Jack, it's like this. There's a thing called a package deal. And I also made it. There you go. Another reference. I made an audio called It's a Package Deal. All right. Meaning you need to know what you're getting yourself into when you're with this mom who has 2 kids. There's going to be a dramatic consequence, and there may be a good consequence. The good consequences is at least the kids have a father figure. All right. At least they have somebody as a substitute that is there. That in a handbasket isn't so much of a bad thing, because, of course, reality states that we need to learn how to patch up these broken bridges, because it's not about us. It's about the children who's going to be the next generation tomorrow. All right. Oftentimes we got to put aside our greed, put aside our differences, put aside our failures, put aside our dilapidated, misconstrued, programmed mindset, and concentrate on the facts, which is the children that is before us, which they're going to have food, water, clothing on their back, and a roof over their head. But unfortunately, my dear friend, unfortunately, all right, the struggle is when that child becomes a little older, that child begins to mature. Depending on how old that child is and what type of relationship that you have with that child, either that child's going to learn from your ways, or that child's going to pull away from you. The only way, and here is a really good tool for you. One of the only ways, there's other ways, but one of the only ways that it will be completely successful is if she's on your side. If she vouches for you. When you get into a scuffle where you have to correct the child for one reason or another, the mother has to realize that you have decided and she have decided to bring you in the picture as a substitute father. You got me? So as a substitute father, just like a substitute teacher in the school, you have teacher authority. You may not be the sole teacher that's been teaching that class for the whole year, but when you are a substitute teacher, you are still responsible for the task of teaching. So you are still a teacher when it's all said and done, and you're going to get a teacher's paycheck. You're still standing in the schoolroom. You still have a principal in the principal's office, and you're still standing there in front of the children. When a mother accepts you into her world, she needs to be responsible and adult enough to understand that she's not just bringing in a boyfriend. She's bringing in somebody who is going to be a substitute. That is the raw truth and the raw facts. There cannot be any separation. Now, when it comes to the children themselves, them not being biologically connected to you, all right, as horrific as most people want you to think it is, it's going to be based on her training and what she talks to them about. It's going to be based on the authority that she allows her children to have around the house. Oftentimes, when there hasn't been another father figure around long enough, and you come in off of the pants leg of this guy and the kids are already grown, that's not a situation that you want to be in. It's not a situation you want to be in, because those kids are already, and I hate to use that word, but it's true, they're already programmed. They already have downloaded protocol of how they are going to live their life. And you coming in and they're 14, 15, 12, 8, 7, it don't matter. Okay, well, it does matter. But when you coming in at a later time of their life, okay, they're building their girth. The girls are sketchy and the boys are sketchy as well. The girls have their own circle of problems that you don't want to deal with. And the boys have their circle of problems that you definitely don't want to deal with either. And so the level of quality and the level of problems that you're going to encounter is going to increase. And therefore, you are putting your value in an area that has the potential to compromise your life, whether it be your peace, whether it be your time, whether it will be false accusations. It's one thing for the girls that we don't need to talk about or get into because we're not stupid people. But when it comes to the boys as well, they can also be a compromise because this kid can also blame you of some things. And it doesn't always have to be something of a molestation situation. It's not always based on that. Sometimes it's plain attitude. Sometimes this boy will come into the house and tell his mom that you got an attitude. You know, that you broke something or that you said something behind her back. Or you were standing outside talking to another woman when it probably was your sister, or it's probably a next door neighbor that was curious about what was going on, or that was asking you questions. Did the newspaper stop by? Did the mailbox, the mailman stop by? You know, was there a loud noise out here? Did you hear a gunshot in the middle of the night? And you're just being kind enough to explain it to him. OK, and the 15-year-old boy can be looking out the kitchen window, looking at you talking to another woman. You see what I'm saying? He don't have the knowledge that you do. He's going to go by his emotions because he's raised by his mom. He don't know logic yet. He doesn't understand that you need to ask questions first and not assume. So when he looks at you talking to another woman, automatically he's going to think that you are talking to another woman. And the moment he turns around and goes say, I can't wait to tell mom, then he has a grudge against you. You walk in the house and you wonder why he's looking at you crazy. Well, what's your problem? And he might say something like, who's that girl outside? Who's that? You might say, well, it's just the next door neighbor, but still he's a child. In the back of his mind, he's still going to be like, nah, I don't believe this dude. No, he's lying to me. I know full well he's just talking to this. No, he's cheating on my mom. I'm going to tell my mom. So he'll go and wait until you turn your back and you leave. You go to work, go somewhere. And guess what? He's having a conversation with his mommy because he's still a little boy. He's a child right now. He don't understand. Running his mouth, being emotional instead of thinking with his logic. He don't have none. But that's the situation you put yourself in. And that's the situation that the mom put herself in. So therefore, she's going to need to depend on her logic by trusting you and evaluate the situation. But oftentimes, because she's a woman, she's going to be emotional. She's going to depend on drama. She's going to be expecting that anyway, because you're the new guy. Anytime you're the new person or you the green person, anytime you are new, wherever you are on probation. Okay, you are guilty until proven innocent with this crazy, dumb generation that we live in. All right. So you're already coming in at a disadvantage. So any small rumor, any small negative situation that pops off, any small excuse, whether you are doing right or wrong, it won't even matter, because guess what? You are in a pond of, of mines. You are tiptoeing around these little bitty mines and have nothing to do with you. It's because of the conditions that the mom or the family is under, and you're in there trying to patch up the pieces. And then therefore, instead of her trusting you, okay, she might trust you 20%, for the rest of the 80%, she's always going to be having her eyes wide open, waiting for you to make a mistake, because you're walking around on landmines. So that's one of the tough situations. But when they're younger, that might be a better chance there. You might have a better opportunity if the child is around 3, 4 years old, 5, 6, around there, right? Because they have time to build a relationship with you and understand you. And yeah, you might over time begin to like this child. Sometimes it is and I'm gonna put it out there, it's fact. Sometimes it is an impossible situation. The father figure is not coming back home. You understand me? Sometimes for the 6-year-old boy or girl, the father of them, he's not coming back home. He's not. He may be in New York City somewhere, and she may be in California, or the reverse. You got me? Or he may be gone from Earth. He may be pushing up daisies, or he may be disabled somewhere, or in some cases, probably even in prison for who knows what. Who knows? Or he may already have raised his own 6-year-old or his own 2-year-old, 3-year-old by now, or 7-year-old. He already has a family and he has a girlfriend. Okay. The baby daddy is not coming home ever. That child is not going to be with their father anymore. So usually that bridge have to be patched one way or the other, or she's going to be a single mom for the rest of her God-given life. And that child's not going to have a father figure. And there's nothing worse in this world for a child not to have mommy and daddy at home. So therefore, when you come into the picture, if it is that way and the child is palatable, they're moldable, they're understanding, and they're not at the phase of being thoroughly programmed by the negative energy, then yes, you have put yourself in a situation that you should not dislodge yourself from. You have to be loyal to that child, and you got to be loyal to the responsibility of her. Now, I got the message, and I didn't read all of it, but I mean, I didn't actually talk about it, but I'm gonna go ahead and share some of what else that you sent. You said something that the pastor said. The pastor pretty much said that that the man is in a relationship for the woman. Okay. Not for the kids. When you date a woman, you're not dating a woman because of the 2 or 3 kids that she have. You're dating a woman because you want to be with this woman because she might be cute. She might be attractive. And I comprehend that. There are some, not all, there are some very attractive mothers out there. Okay. There are some mothers who you don't know have kids, and they still somewhat on a small basis, they kept their body together, or they still got their long natural hair and beautiful big brown eyes and soft, clear skin that you don't mind rubbing up against and pretty much saying, dang, he messed up. I know some of you guys said that. I know some of you guys would think about that sometimes. You see this single mother, you don't know she's a mother until it comes out of her mouth. She'll say something like, yeah, I have 2 kids, or I have a kid. And the first thing that you start thinking is, what was wrong with that guy that walked away? What happened? She's beautiful, soft skin, shape. I know this. So you want to be in a relationship for her, not for the kids. But here, this is where Morpheus steps in. And I'm glad you asked me, Jack. And I am at honor that you chose me, your Morpheus, to give you the red pill on this. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the red pill right now. Okay. You got to accept the possibilities, period. You got to accept it. You got to open up your mind to the possibilities. Yeah, you can be with her all you want to, but you're going to have to accept everything that she has to bring into your world. That's just reality. There's no picking and choosing. Because when you with this woman, she's going to have to deal with her kids while she's with you. She's not going to abandon her kids. She's not just going to turn her back on her kids while her kids are calling her. Her kids are upstairs. Her kids are at the school. Right? And not to mention if she got to go pick them up from school, or she has her doctor's appointments and things like that. Or it may be if the father's not in the picture, she has the kids all the time. If he is, and of course you got the split home that we don't even have to talk about. You know, she has the kids 1 week, he has the kids for another week. It's just dumb. It's a very contorted situation to be in. And you might as well just not be in a relationship. It might as well be just I'll call that a daylight booty call. That's what I call it. It's a daylight booty call, because it's not necessarily at night, but it's scheduled, because you know that she don't have the kids a certain week. So that's when you hook up. The week that she does have the kids, you try to keep a distance and let her do her thing, her regimen. It's a crazy, dumb situation. But if the father's not there, of course, you know that there's going to be responsibility, and you can't just pick her out of the circle of her kids, because her kids are watching you if they are around you. The kids you're going to have to deal with. So therefore, when you sign up, and I told you this in the other audio called It's a Package Deal. When you're with this girl, you with the girl for everything that she has. I know the pastor's saying that you want to be with her and just don't be with them altogether, but it's up to you to be responsible for what you choose. You have the ability to know what type of life she used to lead. You need to evaluate her behavior and ask questions why she have 3 or 4 different kids by 3 or 4 different fathers. And therefore, you need to learn how to at least walk away and leave it alone, because it's a rat trap. But if you decide to jump over the fence anyway, let it be a situation where it is at least understandable or pliable, or it is a safe haven, and it's not going to be where you're walking around landmines all the time. There's a thing that a person said, and I always say this: learn how to hold them. There's some times where you gotta have to learn how to fold them. There's some times you're going to have to say yes. There's some times you're going to have to say, well, it looks nice, but no, I can't do it. So when you're dating this woman, there's red flags all over the place. There's going to be signs and signals to let you know this ain't going to work for you. If you are interested with this girl or woman, and if you are willing to take on her children, because you don't have to be, and that's a terrible situation. And I guess I'm going to go ahead and talk about it before I continue what I was going to say. You don't necessarily have to be the step-in substitute father for her children when the father figure is in the picture. The very reason that you are in the picture, it's going to be a conflict, but you're still somewhat going to be looked at as a substitution. It's a very sticky situation, which a lot of women, this is what women think, and especially the mature ones who learn their lesson after age 32. They will say, well, I guess I'm screwed. I have to wait until my children grow up. That's the solution. I'm not saying that's the solution. I'm saying that's the solution that they come up with. And I have to wait until they graduate. I have to wait until they're 18, 19 years old and they leave the house. Then I can date again. That's a terrible situation to be in. And that's not what she really want to do. And I can actually say that's not what she really need to do, because by that time she's 32 or 33, she's going to be older. You're not going to want to wait for this woman to turn 40 something years old. And then no, not as a quality man, not as a high value man who got options. You got options, especially if you don't have no kids. If you don't have no kids, you have no kids. You're free to do what you need to do and live your life, play your games, go do golf, whatever that you do. I don't know. Go to the shooting range, go to the bar at night, go club, and whatever you want to do. If you have free range to do this, why would you want to sign up for a woman who has to wait until her children become 18 and 19 years old in order for you to have fun with her? And she knows this. Women aren't stupid. They know this. This is what comes to their mind. They're like, I'm not going to wait that long to get me some. No, I wouldn't. Listen, although I am red pill, Okay, believe if you want to stand by it or not. I care about my women. I care about everyone. And I do feel as an FEEL their pain, because I would not want to be in a situation where I can't be in a thorough long-term relationship with anybody because I got to wait until my children become 18 and 19 years old. That's a mental prison, and it will drive somebody psychotically crazy. And the only open door is when your kids are asleep and he has to sneak in the window. Who wants to live that life? Who wants to live that life? Or they're at a after school event or activity or a baseball game or something like that, and all she can do is call you up on a what do you call that, on Friday afternoon when they're at school having their little party, and there you go spending like 2 or 3 hours with her. She wants to spend more time with you than that, per week or per 2 weeks. You only see her like once every 2 weeks. That's going to be a problem over time. When you really want to have plans for whining, dining, dashing, having fun, smashing, and at least more than one day a week, at least somewhere along. It's just because oftentimes that desire creeps up. That inner desire to be with the opposite sex is going to come knocking at the door, and it's strong. And in order for us to heal that, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about those who are in that situation. You got a wine glass. That's right. Or a smoker who's a common smoker smokes extra. All right. In order to heal the pain. Who wants to do that? But that's what some women need to teach their own about. Women who are in that situation need to start teaching other women about this bad consequences. Therefore, they have to be here it is. They have to be cautious of who they're going to have a child with. Should they end up in that situation, they have to make sure that they're not based on they're not jumping off of the bridge and trying to depend on their hypergamy. You got me? These are the things I'm sharing you here is a little bit more details and probably you haven't thought of yet, but to give you a bigger picture of what you are in. So therefore, we comprehend what the pastor is saying from his perspective, but at the same time, you have to accept the consequences of the decision that you made by being with her, whether it's good or bad, you're in it. Once you build a relationship with a child, you are responsible not to break that relationship because children are very sensitive. If they're latched on to you and they are young enough to see you as a parent figure, you are going to add more fire to the flame if you decide to walk out of their lives. And now they're going to be the next grown adult who is bitter and hurt. And again, there's not going to be a lot of opportunities in this baby mother's life. Do you know what mothers do? Let me tell you something mothers do after this point. I know this because I talked to a few of them. Some of them came running for me, not running for me for something wrong. No, running for me, wanting me to be there in conversation, face to face, all this stuff that goes on. The first baby daddy for a little while has to be thorough. If it doesn't work out for whatever reason might be, because again, here's the excuse. I was too young. Yeah. I'm not buying that excuse anymore. You got a grown ass mother or father somewhere who should have told you something. You was just plain hard headed and smoking weed. You didn't want to listen. So put the shut to the up. So you suffering for that. So however that first marriage or relationship broke, it broke. All right. And oftentimes the stork may give you another opportunity or a chance. That's when she's probably still young enough. Her body is still tight. Her mind is still right. Okay. And palatable, manageable. She's willing to compromise a little bit. So during this time, the child is still going to be growing up. Of course, the first marriage or relationship is done. The child still may be young, 5, 6 years old, 7, who knows? Okay. So there's a small window of grace. I hate to say it. It's reality. Whether y'all like it or not, it's just facts. If you don't like it, go kick rocks or bite it as far as I'm concerned with your rusty teeth. Okay? I'm going to tell you like it is. Often there's a small window of acceptance there. There's a small silver lining in the sky should she decide to make herself available and put aside her differences and realize that her children needs a father. Her children needs direction. And at that time, if she's wise and mature enough, she's not going to stand by everything her child say and realize that you are not the biological father, but you are a substitute father figure that still have the same requirements as a biological father. So should the daughter or the son get an attitude, she should not immediately jump on her daughter or her son's side. She needs to understand it from your perspective, because you need to work together as a team to raise this child, because she may be the principal, but you are the teacher. You need to work together to give some education and guidance to the children. But if and it's been too many of them, we're not going to go down that path, because you all who are listening should be mature by now, that there are more than half of them who can't do this. They become so attached to their own kids where it's a me situation. What hers is hers, and what his is also hers. So therefore, when you come into the picture, it's like, these are my children. You're not going to tell me what to do. You're not going to tell my kids what to do. I just want you to come here and bone me. I'm sorry. It's just the facts. No, let me take that back. I do not apologize. It's the facts. I just want you to come over here and be a boy toy so I can have my cake and eat it too. I am not willing to compromise with you, because I don't care about what the kids need. She will not realize that until reality comes knocking at the door. Okay, so too many of them do that. I'm independent. I don't need a man. I can raise my kids all by myself. And here you go with feminized boys. Here you go with girls that want to go on OnlyFans and she's only 18 and 19 years old. Lord have mercy. Are doing stuff already, and she's not even the age of 17, looking for validation because father's not there, because you aren't there to give her guidance. And then all of a sudden, what will she say? She's going to say this. Oh, I don't know why my kids are acting like that. I never grew up that way. Don't get the math, because she don't understand the seed of the situation is she's the principal and she didn't organize her school properly. How are you going to teach your kids? You're the only principal there and you ain't got no teachers. When you want to start with being an example. I can't make it more clear and more factual than that. But let me get off this rent, sir. Let me get off this rent. Okay. You should not be torn in between two rocks. What you need to do is face the reality. If you're going to go and deal with her and her kids, be responsible. Simple as that. Just understand it's not going to be easy all the time. If you want to keep a relationship with them and it's working out quite well, if it's not a one-sided ordeal where she wants to team up with her kids against you, okay, if it is that way, walk away. If she agrees with everything her kids say, even if, of course, her kids are going to be wrong. They're kids, they're children. Maybe not all the time, but generally they haven't experienced life as much as you and her. So most times, because she raised them, they're going to be emotional. But if it's that way, that'll tell you there, don't be there. Go somewhere else. Leave her alone. Leave the kids alone. Walk away. It may hurt them, but it's going to hurt you worse than them, because they're going to continue to team up against you until something terrible happens against you and you can be otherwise innocent. You just walked into a situation where you are automatically the enemy, whether you are or not. But if it's workable and she understands you, she's being, what do you call that? What's the three things? She's being, she's nice, she's pliable, she's submissive, she's willing to compromise, and she's looking at the relationship that you have with her as what it's supposed to be, a family, because you came in. Yeah, you're a substitute, but you're still a family because you're the father figure there, and she's trying to work it out. Okay, then there may be some hope at the end of the road, or what I like to say, there is some positive expectation at the end of the road. Okay, so don't simply look at it as you're doing wrong. How can you be doing wrong and there's some success somewhere? Ask yourself this question. Are the kids happy? Do they feel safe? Are they listening to you? Are they learning from you? Is it fun when you throw on the ball with them outside? Okay, is she not full of attitude all the time? Is she sitting back letting you be the substitute father that you should be or can be? right? Is the home okay? Are they fed? Is she at least trying to understand what you're saying? Then that should tell you that the path is open, that there is some possibility there. You just said it. You said you're trying to work it out. She may, of course, in any beginning form of relationship, it's not going to always stay that way. There's going to be some times where the mask is going to slip. All right. But if it is not dramatic, it's not something that is horrific. You got to remember, you walked into it. Therefore, you got to deal with the consequences of chaos that it has to offer. So with your manly logic, your manly logic that you should have at this particular time, all right, you will know when it's time to leave. You're not stupid. You will know when it's time to go. When things start getting bad, then you do need to walk away. This is how it happens. And here it is. Here's your Morpheus red pill. OK. If her kids and herself is working with you as the male in that picture, substitute or not, if they are respecting you, OK, I would tell you that is a green light. You're going to be OK when you have that properest progression. But the kids are always going to latch on to you. And I know what you mean. The kids are going to have a relationship with whomever it might be. They're going to learn because they're kids. They're open-minded. Sometimes they learn how to forgive easier than parents because we're stuck up when we get bitter. Kids, they learn how to have fun and move on until they become adults and they become bitter because of our nonsense and retard behavior. OK, but most often than not, OK, if they're running with you and the mom isn't running with you, leave the situation because you need both of them on your side. It cannot be one-sided. It cannot be one-sided. And the reverse. If the mother agrees with you, if you are doing well with the mom, but the kids aren't doing well with you, then you need to start backing up just a little bit and talk to her about the situation, because most likely she's not talking to them properly like she needs to. She's not making it pliable for you to enter into the picture. You're going to need both of them by your side if you're going to be the man in the picture. You got me? If either her or the kids are against you, then you need to jump out of it because it's not going to end well. As long as the green lights are going, you keep going because it could be a good thing. It could work out. There's plenty of success stories where there was a substitute father who was better than the biological father and raised the kids properly. And it was a beautiful American story. It happens all the time. We just don't hear about it. But on the often, you still have to watch out for when one of them is pulling away from you, because it's going to be the conflict. She has to be the logical one in this situation. You have to talk to her and let her know. If you're going to be this guy in her world, she is going to have to learn not to always side with her kids all the time, because her kids can be wrong, and kids usually are wrong, and kids can be very cruel at the wrong time, which can cause a bad situation to transpire. So she needs to understand the moment she say, oh, you are here as my boyfriend, but I got 2 kids and eventually you're going to be around them and you start throwing balls with them. You like them. They like you. Then she has to wipe away her plate and say, OK, well, they do have a biological baby daddy, but this guy here, he's a substitute. He's not their biological father, but they look up to him all the same. He's not the teacher. He's the substitute teacher, but he's still a teacher, and he's still going to be respected as a teacher. Once she responds to that and she accepts that and you accept your role, then you have a bright future. So I would say you're not doing wrong. The only time you're doing wrong if you don't pay attention to the red flags. I gave you the keys and I gave you the clues. All right. That should be your answer. And once again, thanks for asking me. Therefore, keep moving forward if it's going to be movable. It's almost like this, and I'm going to shut my mouth and create another audio. Let's just say that every child she has is a car on the train. It's a car on the train. She's the train because she's the mom. She's the engine. You are supposed to be the conductor, and she has one or two kids. They are the cars of the train. Everything has to be moving forward. If either car is stuck on the track and it's broken, in order to keep moving forward, you have to disconnect that car to keep going. You don't want to do that because that can be the son left behind. And eventually he's going to harm you because he's further away from you and further away from the mom because he hates his mom because the mom is with you. Same as the daughter. She'll do the same thing. She'll be stuck right there on the track. You got to disconnect her to keep going. And she's behind. She hates you and the mom. If it's both kids, both of you are going to have to disconnect the car. Okay. Disconnect both cars and keep it going. And both of them hate you and the mom. And if the father figure is around somewhere, I mean, not the father, the biological father, or if they catch up to him or something like that, they're going to want to be with him, not her and you, because they're going to think that the mom betrayed them by being with you. All right. And of course, if the engine's not working, nothing's not going anywhere. That means if the mom don't agree with you, she don't want to accept you. She don't want to be by your side. OK, that means the whole damn train ain't going nowhere. You can be a conductor all the hell you want to. You're going to be sitting there playing with the controls and switches and the turning knob, and you're not getting nowhere. Forget it. You're not going nowhere. Everything have to be moving in the same direction. If you start hearing some squeaking, if the brakes start engaging and you're not pushing the brakes and you are the conductor, you start seeing some sparks in all the wrong places. And it start causing drag on the engine, which is the baby mama, the girl that you with, or yourself. You need to start asking questions because you are the conductor. That is my answer. And that will be good for you as a leader and as a man. And that should be the open door for you. As y'all know, this is Leon C., a.k.a. Morpheus, your professor in the Academy of Wildmen. And that should answer your question. And there is going to be a lot more to come.